Hi, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I want to try to take on two quick ones here in this bit of a reflection. Two words. Again, knowing what we're talking about is really important. Um, Restoring, I guess you could say, integrity to the words that we use, making sure they're used correctly is important if we want to be effective, and ultimately important if we want to be someone of integrity. So, two words that I want to quickly address today uh, are the words accountability and responsibility. Now, the reason I guess I want to address that is because I have seen, well, I once asked a group of people, how many of you enjoy being accountable and responsible? Nobody raised their hand. Nobody raised their hand. How many people enjoy it? These were adults. I think, they would do it. They like to think that they're the kind of person who would be accountable and responsible, but at the same time, they're not really too cozy with it. They don't really embrace it. There seems to be a negative connotation that comes with these two words, accountability and responsibility. I think oftentimes because I see it every day in my counseling practice when I'm working with families and couples and things, if somebody says to somebody else, you need to be accountable, you need to be responsible, you should be more accountable, you should be, you really need to do this, that kind of language comes with it. And this kind of finger wagging type thing goes with it. You need to be accountable, you should be more responsible. And you can imagine that finger really wagging quite a bit when it comes to parenting, parent to teen, and child kind of relationship. And so it's no wonder that when we as people hear that word accountability and responsibility, we kind of cringe a little bit. We kind of go, oh no, here it comes. Some sort of a burden's headed my way. I messed up, my bad, whatever it is. And so there's this cringe, there's this tightening of the jaw and the back, and that comes when we start to talk about these kinds of words. Ask yourself right now, what's your perspective? Do you embrace accountability and responsibility? I want to say that the ability, if you will, to embrace accountability and responsibility is a very mature place to be. Um, and there are levels of it, if you will. We won't talk about that today, but I just want to offer you a couple of different positions on it, very similar. Again, I'm trying to keep things simple. So accountability, right? Kind of two pieces, account and ability. Same thing with responsibility, responsibility. What it seems like we often do is flip the words around. So if the words were flipped around, we'd have the ability to account and the ability to respond. Now, when you start to look at those words like that, when you take that position with those words, they become affirmations. So what is the ability to account? It really just means the ability to see reality and say, yeah, I did this and I did this, or this happened and that happened, like an accountant. You just kind of know where things are pretty accurately. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just the way that is. That's what accountability is. See, but when we get this finger wagging going on, you should be accountable. I guess somewhere bundled into that is guilt and shame, disappointment, which becomes very demotivating. It doesn't inspire. And the words accountability and responsibility are actually affirmations meant to be motivating and inspiring. Because they're not directive, they're affirmational. I have the ability to account and I have the ability to respond. So for instance, when there's something that's gone sideways, a problem, or something that's broken, if you will, that needs to be repaired, a broken relationship, or a broken toy, whatever it is, it's being honest about what occurred. That's accountability. The ability to account. I can see reality, and this is what has occurred. My fingerprints are on it. This is what I did. And then I can demonstrate the ability to respond. I can make that declaration. I am responsible. I have the ability to respond. It doesn't mean that I have to know what to do. It's a stand that I'm taking. It's a declaration. I declare something from a place in which I stand. So that's why we call this is a stand I'm taking. I'm taking the stand of my ability to respond. I don't know how it's going to get done, but I know I can respond to it. That's a huge act of faith in oneself. And maybe sometimes a lot of people don't like the responsibility because you don't know what to do about the problem. See, using the word or positioning on the word the other way, the ability to respond as a declaration, a place to stand, is empowering. It's inspiring. It affirms oneself as able to respond. That's what leaders do. Good leaders, they don't have everything figured out, but they do have faith in themselves to know that whatever happens, they'll be able to respond to it. They'll be able to draw on their internal resources to respond in a way that has integrity. So, simple, right? But trying to get our heads to flip these around, to get a different position on them, is where the work is. But sit with it for a while. Let it percolate in you. Let it work on you. See how this fits. Does this not make more sense? Does this position on these two words not make more sense? How do you know? And I'll say more about this probably when I talk about the definition of integrity. But how do you know whether you're using a word with integrity or not? How do you know if what you're thinking or what you're saying has integrity or not? Look at the results. As a sports coach, I always tell people and families, the scoreboard never lies. You'll know whether you're in or out of integrity because of the results you create. The results you create will be a result of the position that you take. The position will lead you into some movement, into some strategies, and you'll see some outcomes. You'll see some results. So, if your current understanding or if your current position on the words of accountability and responsibility leave you feeling burdened and tense and nervous and anxious and kind of avoidant of the whole thing, pay attention to that, because those are important signs and symptoms that indicate that the position that you've taken is out of integrity. So what the task is to let go of that. Challenge it. Remember, this is what we can do in a free world. We can question. We can challenge it. You can make up your own mind. And so that's why I'm inviting you into this position. See how it feels. Look at the scoreboard and see if it starts to look better than it was before. When you start to think of it this way, watch those nasty symptoms, those negative and uncomfortable symptoms, watch those start to disappear. And when you start to ask other people, or move other people, invite other people into accountability and responsibility, if in your own mind you see it as the ability to respond and the ability to account, and that you're affirming them. I mean, it feels way better to affirm somebody's ability than to criticize somebody. Doesn't it? So you get uplifted, they get uplifted. Right? I mean, it's way easier to repair stuff. It's way easier to create some positive movement when we feel motivated and inspired. That's what this repositioning offers. So try it on. Again, if you'd like to be on the email list, or you want some written material around this, email me and I'll make sure that gets to you. So thanks a bunch for tuning in. Have a great day.